Good morning. Saturday, January 31st. A quick update on what's going on across the state. Winter storm is now underway. The snow is starting to fly across the upstate. New this morning, winter storm warning is now in effect for the entire state. It's not just parts now. Every county in the state of South Carolina under this winter storm warning. That goes through tomorrow morning. And heavy snow will occur in some areas. It could be quite impactful in a few spots. I'm ready to make a final call on amounts. We're going to go with the forecast here, and that's what we're sticking with. Made a few adjustments from yesterday, but not many. I do want to stress when we do talk about amounts, wide variations will occur because of the nature of this. It's going to be in bands. So let's say, for instance, we've got a number out for Charleston. Well, that's the general idea. You could be in West Ashley and you get the low end of that, or maybe a little bit less. You could jump across the harbor and go into Mount Pleasant and you could get a little more, or you could reverse that. It's all going to be dependent on where these bands set up. And then with or without the snow, a bitter cold morning is on the way tomorrow, and that's going to continue into Monday. Here's our winter storm impact. Most counties in the state are under a major impact that generally runs along and north of I-26 in the low country, and then generally along and north of I-20 for the northern part of the state. It also includes Sumter, Florence, over toward the Grand Strand. The Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson metro areas in this as well. What that means is considerable disruptions to daily life, and that's mainly going to be in the form of travel because of blowing snow and some rough roadways, all right? Radar this morning, as of the last hour, 7:30, you can see snow is breaking out across the upstate. I've got some folks up there I know pretty well, and they're feeding me some info and saying, hey, it's snowing now in Greenville. We got it in Spartanburg. We're starting to see it expand now into the Midlands. And then eventually, the simulated radar here shows that batch spreading into the Midlands, across most of the Midlands in the northern half of the state by noon, pivoting into the low country by 4. And some of the snow could be fairly heavy along the coast this evening, as it looks like there's going to be a band that tries to develop, and that is going to determine where the heaviest snowfall will occur. Here we are, 8 o'clock. You can still see some snow, but I want you to notice on the southern side of that, notice the southern tip of South Carolina in this particular model, down south of, let's say, Johns Island and Edisto, and down toward Beaufort and Hilton Head. Notice it's kind of dry there. That's what I'm talking about. There are going to be these areas where there's some drier air that comes in, and you may see snowfall rates taper off very quickly. And then you go a few more miles and you've got several inches, and then a few more miles, you've got next to nothing. That's the hard part of this, particularly in the southern part of the state. Now for the PD, the Grand Strand, most of the Midlands, the upstate, that's not going to be a problem. It's going to snow everywhere, but it's the southern end of that where this could taper off pretty quickly, and we just are not going to know that until it happens. Midnight tonight, the snow is still flying across a good part of the state. It begins to taper off by 4, and then it's off the coast by 8 o'clock. All right, ready for it. Here we go. Final snow total amounts. I adjusted these a little bit. The general idea here, the base map of this I got from the National Weather Service. I like their general look. Snow totals generally the same, just a few minor tweaks that I made to some of these numbers, but not much. Anderson, Greenwood, Edgefield, Aiken to Columbia, up to Greenville, I'm going 4 to 6. Barnwell to Hampton, Walterboro, 1 to 2 to 2 to 4. I think that's a pretty good call. Again, some a little more, some a little less. Orangeburg down to Charleston, about 2 to 4 along I-26. You get north of 26 into Berkeley County, in upper Charleston County, 4 to 6, probably around Monk's Corner or so. Georgetown about 4 to 6. Did take Georgetown down just a little notch. I think you might get some of the banding impacts there as well. But once you get to Kingstree, Manning, Sumter, up to Camden, Columbia, Winsboro, Newberry, Chester, Rock Hill, Lancaster, Spartanburg, Gaffney, Union, even Lawrence, Bennettsville to Florence and Aner, over toward Conway and Myrtle Beach. I think this is going to be a solid 6 to 8, maybe Myrtle Beach at 4 to 6. This is a good snow. And there's going to be pockets, or there will be pockets in there where this could be more like 8 to 12, especially up across, say, York County, Chester County, Lancaster County, over toward Chesterfield, moving into the northern PD around the border belt. I could see it. Now we're going to throw Some wind in there too, and that's what's going to make this pretty unique. This particular snow is a little different than what we're used to seeing in South Carolina. It's dry. The air's very dry. And it's going to be very cold. So these snowflakes are going to be powdery, fluffy. They're going to drift around. So the wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour through most of the state to even 35 miles per hour along the coast. It's going to make that snow blow around. That's going to reduce visibilities. It's going to cause snow to pile up in places. We're talking drifts in some cases here because of the wind. So make sure that you're aware of that. And then that wind is going to combine with lows tomorrow morning ranging from around 8 to 12 in the upstate to 12 to 16 in the Midlands and PD to 14 to 20 along the coast to give us wind chill values below zero in parts of the upstate and northern Midlands, near zero for the Midlands into the PD and Grand Strand, with single digits for most of the upstate. So this is going to be a pretty impactful storm. The single digits, for the low country, not the upstate. The low country. The upstate, you could see those near zero or below zero. Afternoon highs on Sunday are going to be in the low to mid 30s for the upstate, 30 to 34 the PD to Grand Strand, mid and upper 30s for the Midlands and the low country. Another thing with dry snow, it'll melt pretty quickly. So I think we're probably going to reduce that snowpack pretty good tomorrow. And we may be even able to clear some of the roads that get full sun tomorrow, totally. Then Monday morning, we go back down into the single digits to low teens across the upstate and northern Midlands into the PD, about 12 to 16 in the central and southern Midlands, to 16 to 20 down in the low country. And that's going to give us another hard freeze and could give us some issues again with some icy roads in the morning where the snow doesn't melt off. And I think that's most likely in the upstate, the northern Midlands, the PD and Grand Strand, southern Midlands to the low country. There probably will be a decent amount of melting tomorrow, but whatever doesn't melt is going to refreeze, and that could cause some issues for Monday's commute. And then Monday afternoon, we're talking upper 30s, low 40s in the upstate, mid 30s to near 40 PD Grand Strand, low to mid 40s in the Midlands, and low to mid 40s in the low country. That's going to do a pretty good job of getting rid of a lot of this. So this isn't going to be a snow for most of us that lasts a week. You know how we get down here when we get a snowfall and it gets cold like this on the backside. That heavy, wet snow compacts and it lasts for about 5-6 days. I don't think that's going to be the case with this. Probably more like 2 or 3 days. So here's the key point board for you. Heavy snow likely in some areas. Again, wide variations in amounts over short distances. This is an extremely prime example of what I call a boom or bust forecast. You may have a 2 to 4 inch forecast for your particular area, but there is a higher than normal risk that those totals are below the 2 inch range. And there's also a higher than normal risk that those totals are outside of that 2 to 4 inch range on the higher end. That's why I say this is one of those boom or bust situations that we could get into for a lot of us. Prepare for blowing snow with drifts and even reduced visibility. That's going to make travel very difficult later today through Sunday morning, if not impossible in some areas, particularly where those heavier snow bands occur. Road issues could persist into early next week, especially the northern half of the state. So you need to make sure with that you're preparing for dangerous conditions with cold tomorrow morning and again Monday morning. Luckily, with this type of snowfall, it's dry. We probably won't have power outage issues, so that's the good news with this. But it is going to be brutally cold tomorrow morning and then again on Monday morning. So that's where we are. We've made our final call on amounts. If you want to get one more look at that map, I'll back it up for you. That's where we stand this morning. If anything changes, of course, I'll update you through the day, but this will probably be it for us. Good luck. If you're a snow lover, hope you get what you want to see. If you're a snow hater, hopefully this is a bust for you. But I think we're pretty locked in on the general idea. I'll see you around.